A new dawn of the dead. Avery crouched behind the shattered remains of an ancient billboard, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. The city around her was a husk of steel and concrete, overgrown with twisting vines and creeping moss. Broken windows gaped like empty eye sockets, and the distant shuffle of undead feet echoed through the abandoned streets. Years had passed since the outbreak, but the world still reeked of decay. Dawn was just a faint glow on the horizon, illuminating the collapsed skyscrapers that once touched the clouds. Now the city was a graveyard, a monument to humankind's downfall. Avery clutched a rusted machete, her only reliable defense against the infected who roamed these ruins. She had traveled miles searching for supplies and a safe place to rest, but safety was a rare commodity these days. A low moan drifted on the breeze, sending a chill down her spine. Slowly, she peered around the billboard. 3 figures in tattered clothes shuffled aimlessly along the cracked asphalt. Their skin was gray, mottled, and stretched over bones like parchment. One of them turned its milky eyes in her direction, head twitching as though it sensed her presence. Avery held her breath, pressing her back to the billboard, silently begging them to move on. The sound of scraping metal jolted her. A lapsed sign shifted, dislodged by the weight of a stumbling zombie. It toppled with a crash, startling the creatures. Their heads snapped toward the noise, hunger igniting in their dead eyes. They lurched away from Avery's hiding spot, giving her a narrow window to slip past. She inched forward, scanning the street for any sign of movement. Shattered cars and rotting corpses lined the sidewalk. A distant crow cawed, wings beating against the stale air. Every step felt like a risk, but she had to keep going. Supplies wouldn't find themselves. Rounding a corner, she found a convenience store with half its roof caved in. A weak ray of sunlight slipped through the gaps. She forced the bent door open, wincing at the screech of rusted hinges. Inside, aisles lay toppled, merchandise scattered across grimy tiles. The stench of mold and death was overpowering. Still, Avery searched. Her hands trembled as she rummaged through broken cans and dusty shelves. At last, she found a sealed water bottle and a small bag of crackers. It wasn't much, but it might keep her alive another day. She stuffed them into her pack and turned to leave. A sudden snarl made her freeze. A zombie emerged from behind a fallen display, half its jaw missing, eyes locked on her. She raised the machete, heart hammering in her ears. With a guttural groan, it lunged. Avery swung wildly, the blade connecting with a sickening thud. The creature collapsed, twitching on the filthy floor. Her breath came in ragged gasps. Blood dripped from the machete's edge. She backed away, fighting the urge to scream. If more of them were nearby, she'd be overrun. Clutching her prize of water and crackers, she hurried out into the dying light of dawn. Back on the street, the sky had brightened just enough to reveal the city's grim silhouette. Every building seemed to loom over her, threatening to collapse at any moment. The moans of the undead echoed off the concrete canyons, reminding her that she was never alone. As she threaded through the wreckage, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. It was more than the ever-present threat of the undead. Something else lurked in the shadows, something that craved more than just flesh. She thought of rumors, a new breed of zombie, faster and smarter. She prayed they were just stories. She reached an overpass choked with vines, the exit sign dangling precariously overhead. Beyond it lay miles of broken highways and feral wilderness. Perhaps a safer place existed somewhere out there. She took one last look at the decaying city behind her. This was no home. It was a tomb. Clutching her machete, she stepped onto the overpass, resolute. Survival was all she had left. And in a world where the dead walked, she refused to let them drag her into their darkness. And the scream fades to black.